Unit 3, identifying and responding to high-risk groups. 631.1, describe common characteristics of criminal gangs. An ongoing organization of 3 or more persons with a common name, signs, colors, or symbols. Primary activity is committing criminal or delinquent acts to benefit the gang. Theft, narcotics, extortion, homicide. Comprised mostly of young males, ages 13 to 23, often from disadvantaged backgrounds or with histories of child abuse or neglect. Use of identifiers, graffiti, tagging, tattoos, hand signs, specific clothing or jewelry, and music. Requires an initiation process involving criminal acts, sexual activity, or being subjected to violence. 631.2, identify reasons why some people join criminal gangs. Psychological needs, a sense of structure and discipline. Social acceptance, a feeling of belonging. Self-esteem, a sense of confidence in oneself. Fame, a sense of power and prestige. 631.3, explain officer safety issues when interacting with criminal gangs. Gang members hold very little respect for legal authority and do not honor societal laws. They use hand signs to silently communicate and launch coordinated attacks against officers. Some possess paramilitary, combat weapons, or law enforcement training, including veterans. They use the quote-unquote home field advantage of their turf or neighborhoods against responding officers, where sympathetic neighbors may actively oppose police. 631.4, explain why it is important to document known or suspected criminal gang activity. Documentation allows an individual to be statutorily labeled as a gang member. This documentation can be used during prosecutions to legally enhance criminal penalties. It aids in tracking ongoing gang conflicts, identifying which groups are present, and developing an updated agency roster of active gang members. 632.1, identify characteristics of extremist groups. They're organized groups that advocate violence and the illegal disruption of the lawful activities of others. While rhetoric is protected under the First Amendment, it crosses the line into criminality when it advances an ideology through force or violence. 632.2, identify characteristics of domestic terrorism. Terrorist activities committed by citizens within the United States. Seeks to intimidate the civilian population or influence government policies through intimidation, coercion, mass destruction, assassination, or kidnapping. Includes white supremacist groups who share an ideology of racial superiority and commit violent acts against other ethnicities. 632.3, identify the ideology and characteristics of sovereign citizens. An anti-government subculture that refuses to recognize federal, state, or local laws, taxes, regulations, or policies. Operate as individuals or loosely affiliated groups without central leadership. File endless legal documents to renounce citizenship or cancel birth certificates. They believe in the redemption theory. This is that the U.S. government went bankrupt in 1933 and uses citizens as collateral. They engage in bank fraud, credit fraud, and tax evasion. They practice paper terrorism by clogging courts with fraudulent property liens, nuisance lawsuits, and unintelligible documents against officials. 632.4, identify how to recognize a sovereign citizen. Anti-government bumper stickers on vehicles. Homemade vehicle registration and fake license plates. For example, the MUUR Republic or private mode of travel. use of personal seals, stamps, or thumbprints and red ink on documents, homemade IDs from non-existent territories, spelling personal names in all capital letters, or separating first and last names with a colon. Example, John Doe or Jane Doe. Signatures followed by phrases like under duress, sovereign living soul, or the copyright symbol. Excessive references to the Bible, the U.S. Constitution, Supreme Court cases, or obscure foreign treaties. 632.5, identify the ideology and characteristics of militias. Militias refuse to recognize the authority of municipal, state, and federal governments. They're connected by self-described quote-unquote patriot beliefs. They hold absolute beliefs that the Second Amendment is the cornerstone of the Constitution, and they believe that only well-informed people can enforce rights, and any gun regulation is an illegal denial of rights. They believe that the 16th Amendment income tax is fraudulent, and they view police officers as untrustworthy representatives of an illegitimate government, and they actively train for preemptive attacks or ambushes against law enforcement.